Pi Network is falling. Pi Network is falling, and I don't know actually who is dumping this particular cryptocurrency. Previously, I made some articles and also I think podcast episodes discussing about Pi Network, and if I'm to remember, I was not so sure about the technology and so many people were giving me comments of how I've not really invested time to understand Pi. But in most cases, when the project is good, when the project is solution giving, it doesn't need you a full week, it doesn't need you a month for you to understand. So first time looking at Pi Network, trying to learn about it, I didn't actually understand it, why it was here. And if you read my articles and listen to my previous episodes about Pi Network, I used to term it as any other cryptocurrency, any other coin. I think I also called it a trial and error crypto project. And that's what I actually think and believe in. So Pi Network was once at $3. Actually, when it launched, it was somewhere around $3. But right now, it actually fell to 0.1 US dollars. Can you imagine? 0.1 US dollars. I checked that around 4-5 hours ago. But right now at the recording of this podcast, it is at 0.2 US dollars. But we are talking about a cryptocurrency that has millions of users. Actually, when we talk about crypto tokens with user bases, ladies and gentlemen, Pi Network has a strong user base, and when you look at its community, it actually believes in it. I will actually say it believes in it blindly. It blindly believes in Pi Network, however much they are not having anything really much, any infrastructure on ground, but they have their own network that actually believes in it, especially those people that were mining it during I think around 2019, 2020, 2021. During the lockdown, people were busy mining Pi Network. There are so many people holding it, so many people, crypto and also non-crypto. Remember those days that people were clicking in mining and also watching ads, creating revenue for the team, I think to find a way to launch it. It was amazing. However, when it launched, it has been falling and falling and falling. When you try to make research, you find out that actually in the last 90 days, it has been down by 48.34%. And even for the last 20 days, it has been down by 21%. And for the last 24 hours, it has also been down for 20%. It is not something really amazing for me, or I'm not surprised to see actually Pi Network being dumped. But I think these are the things that I anticipated on Pi Network. With billions and billions of supply in this crypto economy, in this crypto market, it is really of a big disadvantage. It is of a big disadvantage. I reached a time and I was comparing Pi Network with VeChain and also Zilliqa. You know, I was formerly a holder of Zilliqa, not Zilliqa, and also VeChain. But I think the difference is that Pi Network cannot actually be easily explained to a person. You cannot explain a person why it is here, the solutions, the utility. It is basically it's like just like any other cryptocurrency, trying to figure out its opportunity in the market, in the crypto market, where they have a user base and they are trying to stand out. And but the deep fall that actually happened today, I have a feeling maybe it's one of the team members that sold the print of the coins and to take out cash. It's possible. We've seen teams of cryptocurrencies actually do that without caring about what will happen to the token market. They simply dump. At the end of the day, everybody's looking for food, everybody's looking for a good life. So some teams actually do that and drop the price and whatsoever, but take out the cash. And I think that's the exact thing that is happening with Pi Network. Pi Network seems to be falling and falling every single day. Do you think that Pi Network is actually trying to reach the levels of Zilliqa, or actually the levels of VeChain? Because when you look at VeChain right now, it is trading at $0.02 US, and throughout the year it has been down by 50.9%, and also in the last 24 hours, in the last 7 days, in the last 30 days, it has been dumping and dumping and dumping. However, when you look at projects like VeChain, they actually have utility, they have a vision, they have mission, they are actually specific. VeChain is trying to decentralize e-commerce, especially to do with exports, imports, labeling, to decentralize the e-commerce transportation system. At least I understood VeChain. In just a single statement, I understood why they are here. They are trying to do decentralized barcodes, especially on products, both I think virtual and also physical tangible products, and it is really amazing. But when you look at the price and the vision, they actually do not match. And I think people who invested in VeChain around 2 years ago, they've not made yet, but they are in losses because the token price has not appreciated at all. However, it has been here and people have been massively getting into the project, supporting it. I mean, it has its core supporters, hundreds of thousands of people holding VeChain and who believe in it, and they've been doing it for years. That's the same thing for Zilliqa. Zilliqa is apparently trading at 0.01. I think now VeChain is ahead of Zilliqa. By the way, when I was still holding Zilliqa, a lot of things happened. People claiming that actually people within the team are themselves dumping the project, and I was like, wow. I was looking at the wars happening on Telegram, and I was like, what? Like, what's happening here? For Zilliqa's case, it is entirely in red. 48% down in the last year, and 8% down the last 24 hours, 4.3% down the last 7. Okay, for Zilliqa and VeChain, it is just dumping and dumping and dumping. Actually, when I was still holding Zilliqa, it was at 0.1, sometimes at 0.09, and it was playing around that, and I think it hit its all-time high price when I was still, I think, holding it at 0.3. No, I think I had sold. And then it hyped up for like a week at 0.3, yes, and then shoot down again at 0.1. But right now it is at 0.01. It is almost putting in 2 decimal points, because it is at 0.0. It's at 0.0107, so it is yet hitting at 0.009. Wow. Well, but Zilliqa and VeChain have been here and have been tested by time. When you look at how Pi Network is behaving, it is exactly like these old projects. And the bad thing for Pi, it is not here for a long period of time, and people have really bought it at extremely high prices. Well, for VeChain and Zilliqa, you could say that it has been here, tested by time, passed through this and that, and maybe its time will come and people who have been accumulating it will actually yield. Maybe it will have some strong partnerships in future and it will be a massive project. But for Pi, oh my goodness, it is really hard to explain what will happen to it because its vision and mission, I mean, it's not really well streamlined. But when you look at VeChain having to do with e-commerce, decentralized e-commerce, and Zilliqa, I think Zilliqa has always been trying to establish itself like Ethereum, empowering decentralized finance and dApps, build-ups on Zilliqa, smart contracts. Because when you look at Zilliqa, I think Zilliqa right now it has something like 100 coins. Okay, not coins, but tokens. Over 100 tokens built on the Zilliqa blockchain network, which is really amazing, and it has been able to capture its own network and apps, dApps built on the Zilliqa blockchain, which is really amazing. And we hope maybe the future will favor these amazing projects. However, if you're holding Pi network, in my own opinion, it's really a bit scary to say that the future of Pi network is really not looking that amazing, and it is actually scary. I was actually talking to two people today who are holding Pi network, and they were like, okay, one gentleman was like, if you didn't really pay attention to the mission and the vision, if you didn't really learn to acknowledge yourself deeply about Pi network and why it is here, and you must be shaking right now. And I think he's a firm believer. However much he didn't seem to understand the project that much, I think he just came in for, you know, it's really very hard to understand these crypto projects. It's really very hard, unless people like we who have really given it our time to get educated, understand it deeply, do it as a career. You know, this journalism thing of research and writing and podcasting. It can be very hard for a common person, a common layman, to really understand and differentiate a failing project and an opportunity of a token to buy. So a lady was like, every single day she's looking at her Pi money decreasing in terms of US dollars, and she's like, if you were holding in like $3,000 worth of your Pi coins right now. Okay, I think for this lady, she bought Pi coins at 0.8 US dollars, and right now at 0.2 US dollars, it is really becoming a nonsense cryptocurrency, which means that if she had in like $3,000 right now, she would be calculating around $500 or $400 or $600 around there, which means that actually the days of Pi coin holders could be a little bit numbered before Pi network actually goes to 2 decimal points, 0.0 something, 0.09, 0.08, 0.0. And maybe it is trying to actually level up with VeChain and Zilliqa, just like I've been discussing, because they are all right now at 2 decimal points, and it is really very hard. Okay, no, they're actually at 1 decimal point. they are at 1 decimal point. It is really very hard right now to understand what is happening with Pi network and why people are dumping it, and actually why they are not constructing infrastructures that are supposed to be providing utility to the Pi token. Personally, I really have a negative attitude about it all. Look at billions and billions of coins that my goodness. I think everybody needs to be educated about crypto and what is happening in this market right now.